and welcome to our semi-annual Last Call episode, Winter 2022 edition, which marks the end of Season 6 of the Neat Glass-sponsored Whiskey Tangent podcast. I'm Scott.
I'm Ed.
And every 6 months, we like to take a break from our regularly scheduled nonsense, humble brag about who's listening to us all over the world, reflect back on all the episodes and shorts and other things that we've created in the past 6 months, do a quick taste of some spirits we're sipping on tonight, and then give you a preview of what's coming up in the next 6 months in Season 7. And of course, there will be tangents. But before all that happens, as per usual, Ed's going to start us off with some special shout-outs.
Thanks, Scott. So first of all, I want to talk about who's been on this season with us. Speaking of our regular hosts, Gabe leads the pack with 11 appearances, 3 episodes, 3 shorts, and 5 Whiskey Madnesses. Siobhan's been on 8 times, 3 episodes, and 5 shorts. Anders was only on 5 times due to scheduling conflicts. That bartending gig in Dubai again, that comes
yeah.
2 episodes, 2 shorts, and one of the Whiskamentaries.
Yeah.
So Sue had, I think, a big season 4 appearances, 2 episodes, 2 shorts. Jeff had 3. Probably a little mad that Sue beat him. But once again, Sue was filling in for the ladies.
Right.
So Dre had an episode and a short on her own to make up for the fact that she missed the episode with...
Right, that Sue was on.
Right,
yeah.
Right, that Shelby and Ari, they only had 1. And Marty and Rachel were on 2 appearances, an episode and a short.
Right.
So we've interviewed some people. We interviewed Nico from Grayson's Texas Whiskey. Mm-hmm. He was on one of the shorts.
Yeah.
Anders was on Whiskymentary Part 2. Billy from Benash was on the Whiskymentary Part 2. And then Matt from a secret, undisclosed distributor was also on Whiskymentary Part 2.
Yeah.
Also, we would like to do a shout out to our boy Austin from Ohio, who turned us on to the Freedom Whiskey.
Right.
We also want to thank Aaron, right, who sent us the Elvis whiskeys.
Yeah. Aaron sent us 2 Elvis whiskeys. He sent us 2 barrel expressions that we did on episode 51. And he also sent us the 2 barrel expressions that we're going to be quick tasting tonight.
Right. We have a lot to say about barrel tonight. We're big fans of the whiskey. I think everyone knows that. And there really is no reason not to be a big fan of the whiskey. It's delicious.
Right.
So that's all I get to do. So Scott, now I just get to commentate on what Scott tells me because I don't know any of these stats. Scott always
the stats are the fun part.
You know, I will say that we appreciate the support.
Yeah.
Recently, each month that goes by is our biggest month. We've been really growing, which means a lot to us because we work really hard, especially Scott works really hard to put out a polished episode. And we really work to give people the knowledge to help them be better equipped when they go out into the world and look at that big wall of whiskey, whether online or on the shelf, and figure out where is my money best spent, what's a lot of hype, and what's a great taste in whiskey.
Yeah, I mean, and it's pretty easy to do that, frankly, because we're whiskey fans.
Yeah.
We got in this because we're whiskey fans. We know you're whiskey fans too. So what interests us, we figure is probably going to interest you. So it's kind of easy.
The vermouth episode we did was one of our biggest episodes ever. Why? Because everybody had the same feeling we had. Oh my God, yeah, which vermouth should I be using?
Yeah.
And they always ask you, what whiskey do you want, right? What bourbon do you want? What rye do you want? But it's only a very few select good high-end bars that go, what vermouth do you want? And so it was a great episode to educate ourselves and everybody else who listened to it on a couple of the popular vermouths. Koki, right?
Mm-hmm. Carpana Antica.
Thank you.
Yep.
I don't really speak Italian as well.
Yeah, you don't speak French or Italian.
It's a romantic language. The romantic language.
The Romance languages, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
I struggle with all of them.
Technically, English is also one, a Romance.
Technically, but not really.
Well, you can't speak that one either.
I struggle with that one as well, but for other reasons.
It's mainly a Germanic language, yes.
Yes. And let's go back to my shout-outs. I appreciate groups like the South Jersey Bourbon Drinkers who let us post our podcast links on there when they come out and understand that we don't make money off of this. We do this because we enjoy it and we love to share what we've learned.
Yeah.
And a couple of the other ones, like the Whiskey Tribe, which is a very, very big Facebook group.
Those guys are big.
They always publish our stuff through.
It's really nice of them.
It is. A few groups don't let us. And it baffles me because we're just trying to like entertain. And I really have a problem with some of the groups now because like pretty much 80 to 90% of the posts is somebody like sitting in their car with a bottle of Blanton's on their lap going, score.
Right.
Just finally scored a bottle of Eagle Rare. What do y'all think about this? And it's like, after 1,000 of them, it's so lame. It's one thing if you found like 1958 bottle of Crown Royal. Like,
right.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I got a Baker's. Well, yeah, we all can get Baker's, bro. Or it's more in your face like, oh, look, I got Antique Weller for 60. It's kind of obnoxious, in my opinion. It's like...
Yeah, it's like bragging.
Yeah, it's like bragging without a purpose. It's
it's not sharing. Because we were talking about this earlier, and you were saying what you would rather see is instead of saying, oh, look what I got, score, going home and actually tasting it and then saying,
Yeah.
Here, look what I got. It tastes like this and this and this to me. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Have you guys ever had this?
Right. So
I want to hear your feedback.
Yeah, I got the Eagle Rare finally. I think it's pretty good. And then, of course, everyone's going to be like, it's terrible, bro. It's like, it's a pour out for me. And then
you're going to get some of that.
The trolls come out.
But at least you're sharing and not bragging.
Right. Yeah. Like, tell me what you think about something.
Yeah.
Or like, for example, we did a quick taste before we recorded this on Starlight's Double Oaked.
Right.
You don't want to share that on your bourbon group? Why? All we're doing is saying, we've tried the Starlight Double Oaked. This is the tasting notes. This is what we taste. You should go try it. Or no, don't try it. It's not worth the money. That's not informative for your group. I don't understand it. Like, what do you want? Just bottle after bottle of what people got at the liquor store? It wouldn't be bad if they're like, hey man, there's 6 left. I'd buy Right Liquors down the road. There's 6 if anybody needs it. That's okay. I don't mind those.
Right. That's informative at least. Yeah.
But really what they say is there was 6 and I bought them all.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, this is funny because just recently I've come across a lot of people on Twitter now are lamenting the fact that exactly what you're saying, bourbon has become this, this hunt to get these rare bottles. And then when you get them, all you do is flex that you got the bottles and that's it.
Right.
It's like, it's not about sharing. It's not about moments with your friends. It's not about drinking it. It's about, oh, look what I got that you don't have.
Right. I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to take away from that. Like, you were luckier than me.
You're supposed to be jealous of them.
I mean, I can't see any emotion except jealousy. But I feel like in South Jersey bourbon drinkers, they talk about bourbon and rye and what it tastes like. And mash bills and when the next expression's coming out and what to look out for.
Yeah.
They're much more current on whiskey and what's going on than just constant crotch shots of this is what I got today.
Yeah.
It's just lame.
And that definitely leads into, which we're going to do in a second, is the recaps and our whiskeymentary that we did. The whiskey industry now, with all their barrel picks and their rarity and whose fault it is, why the secondary market is the way it is.
Right.
And we'll probably talk about that again. But right now, before we get into the listener stats, I'll tell you what we're sipping on tonight.
Right.
As previewed in our Whiskey Madness episode, we made an infinity bottle of all the contestants, all 16.
Right. We know you just finished the Whiskey Madness, so you already know what 16 whiskeys we featured. But just to refresh your memory, the 16 whiskeys that make up our infinity bottle, 3 ounces from each bottle, were
Eagle Rare 10-year, Buffalo Trace Kosher Rye, Bullet 10-year, Kings County Peated, Baker Single Barrel, Broken Barrel Heresy Rye, Pure Kentucky XO, Redemption High Rye Bourbon, Larceny Barrel Proof, Heaven's Door Barrel Strength, Barrel Dovetail, 1792 Full Proof, that's the Bartons, Wild Turkey Rare Breed Rye, Lucky 7 Holiday Toast, Old Ezra No. 7, and the Smoke Wagon Uncut Unfiltered.
So the proof of this bottle, we figured out is 102.2, which is right in my wheelhouse.
It's a nice area proof. It's pretty good. We did not do the mash bill, partly because I'm lazy. The other part is it's annoying.
And there's so much undisclosed in there. There's
some undisclosed, and it's a lot of bourbons. So I figured it's going to be a bourbon anyway.
Right.
It's not really in dispute if it's going to be a bourbon or not. So.
True. So the nose is just a
hodgepodge of all kinds of stuff.
The alcohol seems to be pretty strong in this.
It does seem to really strong, even with the neat glass.
For 102, yeah. I mean, I got a blast of some ethanol as soon as I went into it. So
yeah.
Man, it tastes... Oh, wow. It's really sweet initially. It fades into some spice, but...
It's very alcohol forward, though.
Yeah,
it does fade.
It does fade. It's surprisingly alcohol forward.
For 102.
But I just think because it's so much complex whiskey, I think what happens there, Scott, is the molecules hold the alcohol a little longer in your tongue because it's like the viscosity level. It's so thick and oily on the tongue, Gabe.
$1 for Gabe.
Wow. There's something coming through so strong that tastes exactly like what it is. I feel like the dovetail I can taste.
There's an interesting, I went to an Indian restaurant and they had, as you left, like a bowl of fennel seeds that were coated in candy.
Yeah.
And that's what this tastes like. It tastes like candy coated fennel. How's that for a tasting note? Barrel. It's really good. And now that I'm tasting it more and more, because it was a little strong on the initial tasting, but as your tongue is getting used to it, it's actually kind of mild now. It's quite sugary, sweet. It is still very oily on the tongue, like you said.
The reason we're having this on is what we want you all to do is go out and buy the exact 16 bottles we had, pour 3 ounces, and actually just pour everything into a big tub, and then pour it back into the 16 bottles, and you'll have 16 bottles of these.
If you have $900 laying around, you just go do it.
Yeah.
It is good, though, and we have a lot of it, because 16 times 3 ounces, do the math.
48. It's about halfway of a 1.75, right?
Yeah, we had to put it in one of those big bullet rye bottles.
You know, they had, right.
Just laying around.
Laying around by the dozen.
It's like Rick and Morty when he gets out of his spaceship. When I get out of bed, you hear that clink.
Bottles everywhere.
This is what you hear.
Oh my God.
All right. So, yeah. So listener stats. So I can officially announce that we have reached 20,000 downloads.
20,000 downloads. That's daily, isn't it, Scott?
Daily? 20,000 daily downloads.
It's not daily. And, not turn this into a lecture, but it's because of you that we're not getting there daily. So if everyone could just listen a little bit more.
Thanks for listening, but get 40 friends to listen also.
Right. I'm not trying to turn this into a lecture. No, honestly.
It's an incredible milestone. It really is.
Really, we fully understand that we were slowed up from COVID.
Sure.
People listened to us driving to work. And then for 6 months, no one drove to work. And we took a huge step back.
I'm still not driving to work.
Right. Scott's still not listening to us. And really, there was bigger problems in the world than that. Trust me, we're not crying a river for that. But looking at how we've bounced back, and it tickles us when people that we don't know send us messages. You're not bothering us. Give us feedback. Let us know you're out there. I mean, we've had listeners influence what topics we've done, what cocktails we've done, what whiskeys we've tried. So, I mean, we really are open to our audience coming up and giving us the feedback.
Really, we'd love to hear your ideas about what you would like to hear us do. That would be great. We'll give you a shout out on that episode.
Yeah, I mean, anything that Gabe does something annoying, you want us to talk to him about, like anything like that. Like, like less Gabe, we get it. Like,
there was a lot of Gabe in season 6.
All right. But he has a really hard, strong following. There's like pressure.
Right. All the Pineys and the Pine Barrens.
Right.
As discussed on the round 3 of the Whiskey Bandit.
If you fly over the Pine Barrens, when you get to a clearing, you'll just see like felled trees in the shape of Gabe on fire. Just calling for more Gabe.
I was totally going to say on fire if you did.
Exactly. Just like spelling out Gabe, like help on a desert island, just Gabe on fire. And it's just, we don't, maybe it's just not for us. Maybe they're just dancing around it with like, I'm not sure.
Maybe Gabe means something in their language, like God.
Right.
Gabe is God to them.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
Listen, if God was Gabe, that would not be that bad.
That wouldn't be bad.
No, it wouldn't be bad.
No.
I mean, Gabe would like it.
Yeah.
His ego's already unbound. Can you imagine if he was God?
Wow. Yeah. That'd be pretty bad.
Yeah. So
actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Right.
If Gabe was God, there'd be no bacon.
Right.
There'd be no butter. There'd be no meatloaf.
To quote Gabe, I like bacon.
I like meatloaf.
All
I just don't like it as much as you guys. I'm trying to live to 70.
Right. Good luck, Gabe.
Good luck. All right. So
good luck.
That was a tangent.
I might not get there.
Oh, man. Don't say that. Don't say that. I'll be sad.
Okay. Well, the only reason I will get there is we have a 20-year contract. So
you got to fulfill the contract.
I have to live at least to 74.
Okay.
The contract is with ourselves.
That's true. So in the States, we surpassed the 50 state mark with DC
last time.
Right.
Right.
This time, there wasn't much movement in the top 10.
Oh, okay.
The first 9 are the same. New Jersey, of course, we get 25% of our listenership from New Jersey.
Right. Well, I mean, that's grassroots. I mean, we've built that by shaking hands and, pressing flesh like you do.
Sure.
Whatever flesh I need to press. You know how it is? Like
damn. Brown chicken, brown cow.
But I will say we had an interesting blip with Pennsylvania last month, didn't we?
We did. Yeah. Pennsylvania this month has surpassed New Jersey in the month itself.
Right.
And in fact, this is our best month ever.
Right. Because finally Pennsylvania woke up and realized our greatness. I don't know how vast the Delaware River is that you didn't realize that we're entertaining. Thank you, Pennsylvania, for finally getting on board. Maybe Pittsburgh jumped in. Go Steelers.
Oh, look, now we have negative views. How did that happen? Number 3 is Illinois still.
Yeah.
Maryland is 4th. California is 5th. 6th place is Florida. 7th is New York. 8th is Georgia. 9th is Virginia. Now, those were the same as last time. New entry in the top 10.
Okay.
Texas.
Texas has been slowly growing.
Yeah, they really have.
We gave some love to them on this season. Just one episode. Nothing
very early on, and we'll get to that. Yeah.
But who got dropped out?
Who dropped out was Missouri.
I can't even believe Missouri was in the top 10. It blows my mind. Like
they were 10th, and then Texas was 11th, and they've switched places.
I mean, I can't be mad at you, Missouri. I mean, we've never been there. I don't know.
Oh, no, they're still 11. They're still good.
Yeah, I mean, we appreciate you.
They just dropped out of the top 10. That's all.
Who's 50th?
Who's 50th? You want the bottom 10?
Yeah.
Okay. So Idaho.
Great.
Maine.
What? Maine? Come on. You're on the East Coast.
Vermont.
Vermont? You got to be goddamn kidding me.
I know. I'm most disappointed in Vermont.
I have to tell you, I am now too.
Yeah.
I wasn't a minute ago.
Right.
Because I didn't know about it. But now I'm hot.
Hawaii,
All right. I mean,
South Dakota, Arkansas,
no, I'm good.
Wyoming,
Yeah, we know. about
Alaska,
them. Right. Well, they're far away too.
Rhode Island.
No. I don't care if you're a small state. Step up, Rhode Island. Step up. Be bigger than that.
And last but not least, or at least, North Dakota.
North Dakota. Well, I mean, I will admit that we haven't done our marketing in those areas. I haven't really marketed to the Dakotas. I haven't really marketed to Wyoming or Idaho or Hawaii or Alaska either. I mean, you can only do so much. We're kind of like trying to grow regionally. So I expect that you guys even have picked us up, and I toast you. Let's talk to the East Coast guys now. Vermont, you have Whistle Pig in your damn state. We've featured Whistle Pig on here. We've talked about your state a lot.
Twice.
We had Lost Lantern on here. There's a small and growing distillery there. We have given your state love and yet got no love back for you. It's unrequited love. Maine, you're on the list too, by the way, so don't think this doesn't apply to you. Put the lobster trap down, Maine, okay? Put down the maple syrup, Vermont, and listen to the podcast once in a while. That lecture over. You guys can do better. And Rhode Island, you all get out of bed to watch Providence underachieve, the basketball team. Why don't you come watch us?
Yeah. So some movers farther down the list.
Okay.
So Michigan jumped 6 spots.
All right, Michigan, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Michigan.
From 18 to 12.
Good job, Michigan. See? That's what I'm talking about. That's the effort we're looking for. Good job.
Up 10 spots.
Ooh.
From 34 to 24. The District of Columbia.
Hey, you know what? I'm impressed. And by the way, they have some nice whiskey places there. They have some good liquor stores there. You know,
Yeah, it's a small area too, right?
Yeah, so to move up, I'm giving a lot of credit. And once again, what always surprises me is the fact that our egos are so not there that we always see that we have to have a connection anywhere. Well, who do we know in Missouri? That's
Right.
Like, it can't just be strange people that like, oh, this is a good podcast, I'll listen to it. We're like, so did your cousin live in Missouri?
Right, yeah.
Like we really are that insecure with our greatness, but
Are we? You just said we had greatness.
I know. So we're torn between being egomaniacs and needy and insecure.
We're insecure egomaniacs.
That's right. We are amazing. Are we?
Are we though? Okay, so up 6 spots from 32 to 26, Washington State. Up 8 spots, 37 to 29, Louisiana.
Love it. Well, listen, we talk about New Orleans and Sazerac all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know if those views are good or they're watching me now.
Right.
I don't know if the vampires in
Watching me now.
Sazerac are watching us like, oh, they know too much.
Maybe we had a day trip to New Jersey and bite some fucking necks.
Right. I might actually become a portly bat.
Yeah.
It could happen.
It could happen. Down 7 spots, Kansas.
Well,
Because people jumped up, so somebody's got to fall.
right. So my relationship with Topeka, Kansas, I can see that it's an
Right.
up and down thing anyway, and I can accept some of the blame for that.
Yeah, they all stopped at episode 5. where you trash them.
I simply said that they decided to live where the tornadoes were. They know what they did. I said, let their trailer park fly in the air.
Yeah, you did.
No, I'm actually kidding with you. I mean, when I see tornadoes on TV, like Kansas has tornadoes that rips the street up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like you don't even know a town was there.
Right, the sewer system comes out of the ground.
I mean, I see that footage and I'm literally shaking my head. Like, can you imagine just sitting in your house like a lottery from hell, waiting to see if the finger of God is going to bounce on your house? So I simply said that I don't understand why you would live where the tornadoes are. Like, to me, it baffles me, mainly because I'm afraid of them.
Yeah, that's true.
So everyone in Topeka is actually braver than I am.
Yeah, it's nice of you.
Yeah.
It's very magnanimous.
Yep. Trying to help them get back a couple points.
Yeah. Up 6 spots, the last of the movers, Kentucky from 46 to 40. And we have a story about probably why they jumped up. We'll come to that later. So we'll go to the countries.
Okay.
The countries, we had 50 last time.
Okay.
This time we have 60.
Wow. 10 more countries
10 new countries
in 6 months.
in 6 months. So the first one on the list is actually one that I missed last time.
Okay.
Because the way they did the stats on the website, and I just missed it, and I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Colombia.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Colombia, Honduras, which
Oh, right.
we know is...
Right. Marty and Rachel's daughter.
Yes, she was there. She may still be there.
How many downloads we get? Like one?
Just 3.
Okay. I can't believe she hung in there for 3 episodes. I give her credit.
Well, she might have had her friends listen. That would be
Oh,
nice.
how fun that must have been.
This is my mom and dad. Aren't they amazing?
Right.
Cambodia.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Philippines.
Good.
The small African country of Malawi.
Is that our first African country?
No, we've had Morocco, actually.
Oh, Morocco did.
Yeah. It's actually pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Latvia.
Oh, Right. I've actually been right above it to Estonia. I've never been to
Oh, that's right. You were at Estonia. I was going to ask if you were Latvia. Hungary.
Latvia. I am sometimes, yes.
Yeah. Bulgaria.
Bulgaria hadn't been on yet. Really?
No.
Interesting.
No.
Okay.
Azerbaijan.
Wow.
Yeah. And wait for this one, the last one, the final of the 10, Bosnia Herzegovina.
Oh, my God.
I had to look up how to pronounce it.
Wow. So we took Eastern Europe by storm.
And the Balkans.
Yeah. So once again, you have to understand how funny this is to us. Like this,
it's amazing.
3 years ago, this started as an idea sitting on the couch drinking whiskey. And now people in Africa are downloading our podcast. Like it's a really humbling moment. It makes me really happy that people are starting to really appreciate, like we're getting a lot more regular listeners, like people who are up to date with us and following every episode.
Yeah.
And it really excites us when we see episode 1 has 5 listens this week and episode 3 has 7.
Yeah.
As we know, people are going through all the episodes. And that's amazing. We have over 145 publications now?
Total podcast? Yeah, let's see.
41.
By the time this comes out, we will have 143.
Right.
Yeah.
So for people who say, 143, I'll go back to the beginning and start.
Right. What I'm hoping is happening is they see something, it comes across
Random,
their social media feed random, and they're like, oh, I'm interested in this. And then they listen to a few piecemeal, and then they do go back and they listen starting at episode 1 for that. All right. So the top 10 countries, there's a lot of movement, actually.
Right, wow.
But the top 3 remain the same. I mean, I'm sure you can guess the top 2.
I would think the United States and Canada.
Correct. Do you know what the number 3 was last time and still is this time?
I would hope it would be England.
Correct. The United Kingdom. Number 4, up 3 spots from 7 to 4.
Germany.
Correct. Good job. Not even looking at my notes.
No, I remember what it was.
Yeah. The next one up 1 spot from 6 to 5. You have a guess? You're doing pretty good so far.
The country of Ireland?
No.
Oh.
South Africa.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that.
Yeah.
Wait, South Africa is our 5th country?
Is our 5th country.
Wow.
Yeah. Number 6, down 1 spot, 5 to 6. So South Africa switched with Spain.
Okay.
Down 3 spots from 4 to 7, Afghanistan.
Oh, yeah, right.
Our buddy Brian finally has fallen out of the top 5. Up 3 spots from 11 to 8, Thailand.
I mean, that's
Stunning.
It's stunning because do they even know what we're saying? Like, you have to have people in Thailand who speak Jersey English and understand what we're talking about.
Right, exactly. So a lot of these countries, I can see people in Germany and Spain
speaking English. Right, yeah.
The Afghanistan, we know the reason for that.
Right.
But Thailand, that's like the first one is like, up 4 spots from 13 to 9. Ireland, finally
in the top 10. We've been working on you.
Yeah, Ireland. Stay tuned for our season 7 preview because you'll be interested in that.
And I thank Sexton for probably getting the word out because they do follow us.
They do.
Once again, if you're looking for an Irish whiskey for under $30 to surprise you, Sexton, and it's a great fancy little bottle to give your friends.
It's probably the best Irish whiskey for the money.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Slane's might fight you for it, but
True. Tied at 9 with Ireland is down 1 spot, Taiwan.
Well, they got a lot of stress going on, right? With China getting kind of rammy, watching what Russia's doing.
Yeah. Technically rounding out the top 10, India down 2 spots.
India, little lecture to you. There's a billion of you. All right. We don't need a lot. And we know most of you all speak English too, so that's no excuse there.
Way more than Rhode Island.
Right. So there's way more than you than Rhode Island.
Or Maine.
So you're trying a lot less. All right. And listen, I'll be honest with you. I talk to more people from India than I talk to people from Rhode Island or Maine. We have a better relationship, okay? Every time I have a customer service issue, I'm speaking to one of you. And so for now on, what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you about the podcast and you can spread it to your friends.
Yeah, no, sir, you cannot cancel your cable subscription. Well, how about listening to this podcast? Do you like whiskey?
You like whiskey, do you? They have Amrit. Try the Amrit Fusion. It's right behind you on the shelf.
So some movers up 16 spots.
What?
From 31 to 15.
Yeah.
The country, you've been there, Finland.
3.5 million people, as literally as white as copy paper.
They're like Sue the whiskey pixie.
It's not even like they just simply don't have enough sunlight.
They don't have melanin in their skin. It's all gone.
Saying.
Yeah. There is one more, but I don't think it's necessary now because it doesn't even fit in. Well, okay. There's one more. Up 7 spots from 25 to 18. Israel.
Well, I don't know why.
Which is interesting.
I think it's anti-Semitic that you didn't want to include this guy. Why would you not include the Jews, Scott?
I don't know.
Oh my God. I don't think it's relevant.
I did not see that coming. So, the next thing up is the season 6 recap.
I love it.
Yeah, this is the fun part. Well, we always say that. We say the stats are the fun part, and then we get the recap, and we say, oh no, this is the fun part. Psst, they're all fun parts.
And the reason is we drink more whiskey as the episode goes on, so each part gets exponentially funner.
This is why we love this. I do some planning, but a lot of it is just talking about ourselves.
Yeah, and funner is a word
Funner.
in my vocabulary because more fun is not fun. Funner is fun. Funner should be a word.
Funner should be a word. I
My
agree
party
with
was funner than your party.
you. I don't know why it's not a word, actually.
Like, I think it's just better.
It is better.
Hey, whiskey's a funner drink than vodka.
Oh, that's for damn sure.
Sorry, vodka friends.
Facts. In season 6, we did 25 podcasts. So we were pretty ambitious.
Very active.
I had a very ambitious schedule that I
We
produced back in September, and I believe I said so on the last call. We
Right.
pretty much did everything. We had a couple hiccups here and there. We did 25 podcasts in total, 6 episodes, 6 whiskey shorts, 5 bonus shorts, 3 whiskymentary episodes, and 5 whiskey madnesses, one of which being the special announcement. So the first thing that we did was a bonus short the first week of October, how to make a mocktail for sober October.
So Anders bought some fake whiskey online from Amazon, which was very almost like birch beery in a way, like without the
very
sweetness.
tannic.
And then Scott brewed some barley teas and things like that. And we made cocktails with the tea and we made cocktails with the fake whiskey. And we found out that combining the fake whiskey, which was like a little bit smoky, and the teas was the way to go. That gave us enough substance that when you added in whatever you wanted to add into the cocktail, the mixers, it held up and you could taste it. And you got a feeling that you were having a cocktail. And people actually enjoyed that one. I mean,
Yeah, it was something that we'd never done before. We never had one where we didn't drink on the podcast. We said in the middle of it, I remember, are we even funny anymore?
so we're back. We have made, what are we calling the version of the whiskey sour?
I called it the Trixie Sour.
Scott, we're trying to figure out, like, off air, like, this is the first time we've ever not drank on an episode of the podcast. We're like, are we still funny? Or do we think we're doing good? But it sounds like this, like, so what we're doing today is
It's like NPR.
we have non-alcohol for you.
Like when we're drinking, we think we're Janis Joplin.
Right.
We wake up and we realize we're Yoko Ono.
I think we got pretty close to approximation of
Yeah.
if you are giving up whiskey for a while, there are ways to mimic a cocktail that is a close approximation of the taste profile that you're used to.
And what we talked about, making a cocktail, it's also the ritual.
Exactly.
You know, like the whole point is of mixing stuff together, cutting an orange rind, putting a cherry in.
Putting it in a shaker, stirring it around.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's a ritual that people miss. And it must have inspired Anders because he went on a 75-day
He did.
prohibition.
Do you think you could do that? 75 days?
Oh.
I can't do a week. I'm like, I'm going to do a week. And then like the 7th day, I'm like, fuck it. It's a week
I
now.
mean, there have to be a really good reason. Like, I'm going to give you this medicine, Ed, for the next 30 days. And if you drink on it, you'll die.
Right.
And even then, I have to be like, someone has to remind me of one of his medicines.
You have to put little Post-it notes on all of your bottles.
I'll have chains on them like a medieval library, like keeping me from getting the bottles out.
Oh, shit. So the second thing that we did in season 6 was a short, the Grayson, Texas Bourbon Quick Taste. The co-founder, Nico Martini, we did an interview with him. Boy, man, that whiskey was absolutely fantastic.
Wow, yeah. My main thing I took away is that he's not charging enough for that whiskey. Like,
Right. I remember you said
he's
that
like,
to him.
he's like, yeah, man, like the bottles now go for like $100. I'm like, well, yeah, because your bottle was going for like, what, it was like 55? It's like 120 something proof.
Yes, for the proofage and the delicious taste of it, it was worth at least 50.
For a special release, they only had like, what, under 1,000 bottles, right?
Yeah, in fact, by the time that we had actually done the interview with him, it was all gone. That's how limited release it was.
Right. We had been bequeathed, I think, a half bottle, right? Mm-hmm. Which was very generous in, in 1,000 bottle release. I mean,
Right.
we were damn pleased to be part of that little experience.
Yeah.
And we learned a lot about how Texas was changing their laws.
Yep.
How Tito's vodka got
yeah.
the ball rolling in Texas.
Yep.
That opened up the door for some of these companies like Nico's.
Exactly.
And what's the name of this company again?
It's the Grayson
Grayson, right?
Texas Bourbon. And I remember the whole thing where I went to Urban Dictionary and did the Grayson definition. I decided to look up the name Grayson on Urban Dictionary.
Okay. Oh my God. Here we go.
How popular is it?
No, well, here's the most popular definition of Grayson.
Uh-oh.
All right. A Grayson is a rare boy with the ability to love with all his heart. He is sensitive, and he will give everything he has to the one he loves. He is caring and in tune with how others are feeling. They are usually good-looking, very athletic, and citrus-scented.
Okay.
Right?
Mostly, Graysons are excellent people to have around, as they are the perfect friend, and their schlongs are lady killers.
Damn. Yes.
Okay, so after we did that, we did our first episode of season 6. That was episode 46, Barton's 1792 small batch versus foolproof portly bat.
Right. So the episode was so funny and so good because, first of all, we found this foolproof Barton's for $45.
Yeah.
And then we drink it on the episode, and I'm like, this is amazing. And this was not moving well for them. So they dropped it to $34.99 a bottle for
120 proof whiskey.
a foolproof, delicious. I bought another. I think I bought 2.
It's a steal.
One of which appeared in the Whiskey Madness.
Yeah.
And Scott bought another. I think Siobhan bought one. And it's like, it was a delicious whiskey. And that episode, the whole premise was why my problem with vampire movies is that the vampires are always in perfect shape. You know, just to be honest, I think it's true. We can all agree. There's no chubby vampires in any genre. I mean, I don't understand what happens. Maybe blood's not filling. Maybe it's not enough to keep your calories up, or you maybe just shrink when you're a vampire. I'm not really sure. Maybe they were chubby when they got bit, and then it's just like. So I'm a little bit anti-vampire for that reason, because it's just kind of like a little biased. Like, fuck them. I mean, since a vampire, the problem, he comes up to me high noon anytime. I'll be in the front lawn. Come get me.
Blood's all protein. I mean, there's no carbs there.
It's a keto diet.
They're all
I mean,
gluten free. They're just sucking necks and they're going to bed.
Ed, I think maybe if you were a vampire, then you would be thin.
right, because I would just be blood, right?
Yeah,
Keto.
it takes a lot of work to get
Fly.
blood
Can you
every
imagine
night.
me trying to fly the first couple of years? I mean, my bat be like, "Arr!" I can only fly short distances, until, like porch to porch, like.
You're like a baby bird doing head plants into the
Like
ground.
Woodstock.
Exactly.
Upside down.
Watching a portly bat fly into a wall and then just drop into the floor.
Portly bat! Portly bat!
Portly bat.
Your vampire rat name. So what I love about that is, it's just so great, is the anatomy of a joke, right? So 6 months prior to the fucking episode, I started listening to baby metal.
Sure.
And so I started, and I showed to everyone that I knew.
Right.
And then Ed, at the beginning of that episode, just on the random, decided, let's listen to some Papaya in order to get in the mood, because it's a really up, fun song.
Yeah.
So we did that. And then during the episode, we kept referencing it without people knowing what the hell that was. So we explained what that was. And then that got inserted into the nonsense about the bat and vampires.
So, but this joke starts from us saying that every time we looked at a distillery, including Barton's, Buffalo Trace, or
Sazerac's involved.
I said they start in New Orleans. Maybe they're vampires, because that's where the interview with the vampire was.
Right.
back-
So that's a part of the anatomy of the joke.
Right. So it goes back to
That goes back almost as long to the Caribou crossing that Jeff brought.
Right. Just the fact that, hey, if I was a vampire and lived forever, I would start to buy distilleries. So I decided that Sazerac was owned by vampires. So when we found out Barton's, I'm like, oh my God, it's the vampires again. And then that started a whole conversation on vampires.
Yeah. That joke only happens with the four of us at that moment.
And we found that anything that has 3 syllables can sound like Papaya if we wanted to. You'll think that's what they're saying. And like Pully Bat, it's the same thing. Like,
I mean, Barton's has a really cool history. It's elucidated on that episode, because I tasted their small batch a long time ago, and I was impressed with it.
yeah, it's for what that's actually $35. I mean, you can get that.
Yeah. And they have a bunch of other expressions, a sweet wheat, and they have a port finish, and they have a single barrel, and they have a bottle and bond. And I mean, they just have a lot of stuff that people kind of sleep on.
Right.
So the one after that, we did a short with Anders again, the Whistle Pig 10-year rye quick taste, which was bottles of a barrel that he picked himself.
The Whistle Pig came about for a couple of different reasons. Our first full-on whiskey tasting was with Whistle Pig back in 2019. It was March. Our good friend Nate Woodruff from Whiskey with a View came out.
I missed it.
He had class.
I never lived it down. I had class. I couldn't make it.
They say school is supposed to better you.
And
at least you have the degree now.
I graduated now, but what does it mean? I was never at the whiskey tasting of Whistle Pig.
I missed it too, but I felt that if I went and Ed didn't go, that would
oh
be
my
just,
God,
Would have been worse.
Oh,
There would have been more animosity.
What a bitch I would have been.
I know. I would never would have lived it down.
Yeah,
We'd still be
neither would
talking about it.
It was great to have Anders on and force him to talk about the whiskey while he was in the middle of his 75th day.
know.
So he couldn't drink any of it, but he'd already drank it and picked the barrel, so he knew all the tasting notes and he could talk about it.
Yeah. He got to see us drink it.
He sat here and drank like club soda while we were crushing this Whistle Pig 10-year that we bought. And I always liked Whistle Pig 10-year out in the wild as my favorite of the Whistle Pigs because it was only $70. And the 15's better, but that's $225. So the 10-year Whistle Pig was very good. It also was 100 proof. My problem with their 12-year was it was like, what was it, like 86 proof or something?
Yeah, it was.
What the fuck? Like,
yeah, the Rye Surgeons episode.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah, we were pretty disappointed in it.
yeah, I mean, for the money, we paid like $120 for it. It was sub 90 proof.
Yeah.
Because even me who doesn't like things at 120, I'll proof that down and it'll last longer. It'll be more worth it. So
Yeah. He still has some left. We were just at the lounge the other night.
Yeah, there's still a few
he
bottles.
still had like 4 or 5 bottles left.
we should probably pick another one up actually before they go. It's a good deal.
Okay. Yeah. It's good stuff. All right. So after we did that, we did the sequel, if you will, to what we consider our funniest one, at least to us.
Our funniest short, no
Their
doubt.
funniest short in our second season, 13 Scary Spirits for Halloween, scary being disgusting.
Right.
And so this time we did 13 more Scary Spirits for Halloween. Unfortunately, Jeff couldn't make it because he was on the first one. Substituting for Jeff was Siobhan.
Right.
It may not have been as funny as the original one, but I mean, there's just so much disgusting things that people drink. From New Zealand, Stag Semen Stout.
God damn it.
What is up with balls and testicles and semen and gelatinous and liquidy and white and bleachy?
We can do it right here, ladies. Take a shot.
Goodness gracious.
In 2015, The Green Man, a popular pub in Wellington, New Zealand, was looking to create a new and fun beer, but disturbingly, they settled on the idea of a 5.8% ABV stout laced with export quality, quotes, stag semen, which was contract brewed for them by nearby Choice Brothers Brewing.
They have that many stags?
No, they had to, I guess I had to import it because
Right,
that's
so
why
all
it's
they have is
export
sheep
quality.
there.
Yeah,
They don't have stags.
exactly. Here, boy.
There's a farm, right?
Yeah, there's a farm, right?
What farm do you belong to? Well, let me tell you.
It's very exclusive.
Yeah.
How many loads can you drop in one day?
Right. Do customers get to come in and do it themselves? Like, who wants to jack off their own stag and make their own drink?
Petting is encouraged.
Yeah, heavy petting.
Can you produce liters or gallons?
Oh my God, it's a
in
heavy
day?
petting zoo.
Reviews on the popular beer social app Untapped are actually mostly positive, where it enjoys a 3.9 out of 5 rating, with the reviews containing all the amazing double entendres you might expect. Creamy head. I swallowed it. Loads of flavor. I definitely come here again.
And grossing out the girls was fun. I felt like I was in middle school and like showing them a dead frog or something. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, girls, look at this. They would scream and run down the hall.
And I had the surprise at the end of the Malort,
right.
the Jepson's Malort. It's a super bitter whiskey.
Right. It was disgusting, but I knew Scott would be one out of every 1,000 people to like it.
1 out of 49.
Is it 49?
Yeah, I was that, I'm that
wow,
guy.
such a strange ratio.
Yeah, it was a strange ratio. They know that they're ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's sort of a rite of passage. Like if you go to Chicago, you go to a bar, somebody might challenge you to have a shot, and now you know what you're getting into. It's not that bad.
Right. I could do that. I've drank Boulevardier, so.
I'd love to make a Boulevardier with that.
I mean, you'd only need like to put like a drop. Like remember the cartoons where they would put a drop in, just a big smoke would go up from like whatever they were making, like the Roadrunner or the Coyote.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's all you need.
Okay, so after that, episode 47, we did a reboot of our second episode, Basil Hayden versus Old Granddad. That was also with Sue and Siobhan.
Yes.
That's where Ed basically fleshed out our corporate headquarters.
All right.
It has definitely added more flavor,
Yeah.
but I could definitely deal without the throat burning.
I'll throat burn you.
Oh,
Jesus.
Friction burn, if you know what I mean.
No, Ed, tell us.
you have to go to HR on Monday.
HR meeting on Monday. Every Monday, by the way. Every Monday for the year, I have an HR action meeting. I'm on 16 different improvement plans at the Whiskey Tangent. Corporate offices. What happens is I go to corporate office. I ride the elevator up to the 20th floor. That's where Siobhan's office is. I fill out another form saying I won't do it again. Then I go to the racquetball court. Scott beats me 2 out of 3. And then finger painting with Sue in the art room. And then
I am a work of art.
Right. Then I'm with exactly. Well, it was me finger painting on you. People don't realize that.
Right.
Wow.
Right. It's like body paint.
Right.
I made her Captain America last week. So And then we're with R&D, research development, working on products down in the lab. And then we go to the storyboards for the episode, right? We go through. Friday, I have to summarize for my action plan on Monday what I've done to correct my behavior for the week.
That was a complete fiction. So, Sue.
I phased out. Wait a minute.
How did you like the combination?
That's just our local Philly office. I didn't even talk about when we fly to Chicago.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's hundreds and hundreds of people work together every week to get this podcast on the air for us. I want to thank all of them at the Whiskey
Thanks
Tangent.
all the little people.
At the Whiskey Tangent headquarters here, and of course the regional offices in Nashville and Los Angeles.
And Dubai.
In Dubai, we have our compound. It's an island made into the shape of a whiskey of a whiskey glass. Man-made islands.
It's a neat glass.
Right, it's a neat glass.
We had to have it
Right.
reshaped after we got the sponsorship.
Right, we literally had to grow the island in the shape of a neat glass, and then houses ring it. It's great. My bungalow's on the south rim.
Oh, that's very nice. I'm on the north rim, as far away from Ed as possible.
Right, exactly. Stay away from my rim.
Damn. Well, we're just going to slide right over that or into it.
Stop it.
So then after that, we did a short, what we called our final Infinity bottle, which we now know is not our final
Well,
one.
it really is, because that one we cultivate. Well, go ahead, Scott. Tell us what we did.
Yeah, the final Infinity 4, this time it's personal. So Ed created his own Infinity bottle.
Yes.
I created my own Infinity bottle. And Gabe did an Infinity bottle, not curated, but a mega Infinity bottle encompassing maybe like 87 whiskeys.
It's got a viscosity.
Yeah.
Definitely leaves a little flavor on the tongue for later,
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Definitely. And
It gets in the pores.
and you notice that it's like a little thicker than maybe Gabe's was?
Yeah.
Like, you notice
Yeah.
that?
But it still went down pretty smooth, though.
It's a little thicker.
Really?
It's a little thicker than
Really?
Gabe's and went down smooth.
Wow. Okay. I had a lot more in my bottle.
You did. You had a lot more. No one can deny that, Gabe.
I always do.
Gabe's a big comer.
Oh, my God.
And we'll be right back.
He had a bottle like filled to the rim, and it was good, but it was kind of an overwhelming flavor profile for me.
It was overwhelming, but I think Andrea thought his was the best.
Yeah.
You thought mine was the best. I thought yours was the best.
All right, and that's interesting that we all did that.
And I think Gabe was complimentary about everybody. Yeah. I mean, but that's the fun about doing it.
Yeah.
Is just compiling what you had and sharing it with your friends.
Gabe's very complimentary. He's like mints at the end of a diner. You know what I mean?
He's like Andy's chocolates. And that's perfect for him because that's the mountains and he's
That's
a
right.
Sherpa.
Exactly, as he should be.
All right. So after that, we did a bonus short with Gabe and Siobhan.
Yeah.
The Sweetens Cove versus the Bradshaw Bourbon, the quarterback whiskeys for
Right.
Thanksgiving.
So Peyton Manning's involved with Sweeten Cove.
Yep.
The Bradshaw is like $45.
Yeah.
And what we decided about the Bradshaw was, if you had a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, it's a great gift.
Absolutely buy it for him.
And you can,
Her.
all right. And if they like whiskey, they can drink it. It's not a pour or anything like that. But I'll never buy it again. I don't have any reason to drink it. I have so many other things in that price range to drink. But it certainly is a nice novelty whiskey. Now, here's my thing. I'll give credit to it for that. I was surprised about this one factor, and I don't think I gave enough credit during the episode.
Okay.
It's 103.8 proof. So it's not just some 85, 84. Like,
It's true.
get as much as we can out of the barrel. You know.
Because the percentage was his passing percentage. Career.
Right. That's right. Which, by the way, is not good. It's 51.9.
No, it's not good.
So that's even funny because Bradshaw's got a tremendous sense of humor. I think that's why he's so likable.
I think we did better on the palate. Cinnamon, baking spices, vanilla,
Yeah.
and coconut, which we did not actually taste,
no.
but pretty good. On the finish, wood, vanilla, and butterscotch.
Okay.
Interesting.
This is their tasting notes from their website.
I found Terry Bradshaw's tasting notes. Tastes birdy and hot. Make my head funny.
Wow.
Feel like I got sacked by Too Tall Jones.
So guess what? This means we cannot tag Terry Bradshaw in the Instagram.
Terry Bradshaw's got a sense of humor.
Sure we can. Editing.
Yes, thank you.
Now, the Sweetens Cove is a completely different animal. That's just a really good whiskey that Peyton Manning's kind of involved with. He hasn't put his name on it. So it's kind of like a different animal.
The Sweetens Cove was fantastic. It's going to cost you. And in fact, we were supposed to get a whole bottle of it, and we never got it. As I alluded to in the intro, Siobhan's father was nice enough to give us a sample of this whiskey. then later said, I know some of the people involved with the Sweetens Cove. Maybe I can reach out to them.
Right.
And Siobhan was like, Scott, could you write up something about your podcast? And we could send it to them, and then maybe they'll send us a bottle.
Right.
All that happened.
But for some reason, we still haven't gotten that bottle.
Yeah.
That has been promised to us 3 times now.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I have a nice surprise for you. Ladies and gentlemen.
What?
Peyton, come on out.
Oh!
Oh my God.
No, Peyton Mann is not here. That would have been fucking amazing.
Right,
though,
that really would have been.
Yeah.
But
We got Eli instead.
oh,
So after that, we did maybe one of our most contentious episodes, episode 48.
I think it was a brilliant episode. People were just wrong.
Metallica's Blackened versus Slipknot's Number 9 Iowa, the
Right.
all-metal episode. Plus, we got a sponsor.
Yes.
That was a big episode, our longest episode ever.
Yeah.
Not only did we get a sponsor,
He loved that episode, by the way. He talked about it when I had lunch with him in Vegas. He loved the metal episode.
George, the Neat Glass owner, creator, he's like, what, 76?
76?
Yeah, he's my
I
parents'
feel
age.
bad putting his age on blast. Is that
Oh,
right?
no.
Joe?
I mean, he's done a lot in his life.
Yeah.
I mean,
He restored 6 or 7 Model A Fords.
Yeah.
Because he used to work for Ford. He used to do something like a product engineer for Ford.
Yeah.
He worked for Morgan Stanley. He's had a hell of a career. He's an amazing guy.
done a lot in his life. So the metal whiskeys that we had compiled together, we wanted to get more, but
There isn't that many.
there aren't that
metal
many. We went through them. They're hard to get because a lot of them were limited releases.
Yeah.
The ones we could get were Blackened that Siobhan brought, the Blackened Cast Strength that Gabe brought,
Right.
and the Slipknot that I ordered
Yeah.
off the website.
We're also triply excited because we're going to be tasting 3 whiskeys here, representing 2 bands. First of all, our good friends in Slipknot, who we've never met, but I feel like I know them because I really feel like they rejuvenated my love of metal when they came out. I thought they were so unique, and I appreciate our guests being patient because I'm really dominating right now, and I apologize.
I
You
love
guys-
it when you dominate.
Noted.
Distracted.
Distracted.
So,
I like to watch.
get in your gimp outfit and get in the box.
Slipknot.
Right. So, the,
Focusing everyone back. Like the Neat Glass focuses the aromas.
exactly.
To
So
your nose.
your nose.
I mean, they were all pretty good.
Yeah, they turned out to be enough because I was pretty drunk by the end of the episode.
Yeah, and then we did our top 10 metal bands of the Whiskey Taster podcast for the 4 of us, because the 4 of us are like the metal heads.
We're very eclectic, but metal, it kind of goes to our youth when our angry teenagers, like
Yeah.
Ozzy, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest that we grew up with. And so, go ahead, Scott.
Well, I don't know. That's all I had to say. There were some contentious
Well, the
things.
contention was the fact that Sabbath was like in the top 5, and so Ozzy Osbourne was in Sabbath, so he doesn't need to be on as an individual artist. My point was he left Sabbath in 1980, and he had 42 years of a career after that, including some of the greatest guitar players, and that he should be in the top 10, even if he was 10th, which would have been still a travesty. But the fact that he wasn't on the top 10, let's just say I complained, and it went on for about 20 minutes.
He was 11th, though.
That made it worse.
So it wasn't a conscious decision. So
No.
that's the whole thing.
No.
The way we did it was just math. I explained on the episode exactly how we did it. We don't have to rehash the whole thing. It's just that
Right.
Ozzy did not make it to the top 10. But because he didn't make it, he actually did, because you mentioned him.
Right. So actually, he became the star of the metal episode.
Exactly.
And he'll be immortalized forever.
Oh, Ozzy's great. I love Ozzy. I
Yeah,
really do.
sure.
I really do. All right. So top 10 states with the dumbest alcohol laws.
That was so much fun.
So much fun. Possibly Siobhan's funniest episode, I think.
I think you're right. Siobhan was the star of that episode.
Yeah.
I mean, and we've talked
Her
about,
accents.
we've talked about,
I'm still laughing about it. There's a bonus dumb law in California. It's illegal to display alcohol within 5 feet of a cash register if the store also sells motor fuel.
what the hell does that even mean? Like,
Wow.
You can't have an impulsive buy, like
Yeah.
6-pack at checkout?
Because you might be driving.
Oh.
Yeah.
What amazes me about laws like this, Scott, is that somebody sat down and wrote it.
No.
So you're going to walk 6 feet and get the beer.
Right. So, hold
Anyway.
up. Right. So,
Right.
So don't forget, keep your beer 6 foot away from the register.
Right.
Just to
Now
be
you're
on the
telling
safe
me-
side. Because what if you got one of them people with them small feet? See?
I didn't know you did such a good country voice, Siobhan.
This is California, though.
It doesn't matter.
Well, there could be some country bumpkins in California.
There's 25 million people or something. They could definitely be.
You mean to tell me you put your beer 6 feet from the register? What kind of goddamn Nazi place is this?
You talk about the fact that if anyone has grown more the last year on the podcast, it's Siobhan, and her freedom to just be herself. And, she walked in here the other day with like a Mr. Microphone type thing. So she had her own microphone. Like, that's hysterical to me.
I agree. Like, we started this off doing 6 episodes without releasing anything, just to be sure that we liked what we were doing, to kind of grow in those 6 episodes. And I think once we got to episode 6, we knew what we were.
Right.
But it's really intimidating to do this and put yourself out there and open yourself to criticism, open yourself to, God, is anybody going to like us?
Or listen.
Or listen to us. And the fact that we have people come on our show, friends, new friends, and they really do an amazing job. But it's really scary. It's not something that you're used to doing, speaking into a microphone.
I mean, now we are.
Now we
Second
are.
nature to us.
Oh, yeah. Me and you. Now we are.
Like, you don't even think about it.
But like you were saying, I mean, Gabe has also grown. Sue is great.
Sure.
Jeff has found his voice as well.
I mean, Gabe was pretty much consistent all the way through. Gabe also had a comfort level with us that Siobhan hadn't quite had yet.
Siobhan was a new friend.
Right.
Gabe we've known for 30 years.
Right.
After that, we did episode 49. I always love our Japanese episodes. This was Hibiki Mars Harozaki, Christmas in Kyoto, Crazy Kit Kats, and Godzilla Poop Cookies with Anders, Marty, and Rachel.
Right. Our friends from the lounge, Marty and Rachel. Actually, we're just texting with Marty today about he just got a nice rabbit hole bourbon.
Rabbit hole, a bourbon, yeah.
Yeah, so he's talking about doing a little barbecue at his house and going over and seeing what that tastes like. That might happen. So
that will happen.
It will happen.
Yeah,
so we'll be seeing them soon.
Yeah. And Rachel, if you're listening to this, there's a bottle of Koki in your future.
That's right. We'll bring a bottle of Koki.
So not only was this a Japanese episode,
right?
It was also Christmas. And I like both of them. We tasted different candies this time.
Yeah, from Japan.
And the reason that we wanted Marty and Rachel on is because Rachel spent her first 10 years of her life in Japan, in Kyoto. All right, so we're back and we're continuing to chew on all of our candies.
Wow.
There's so many chewing sounds in the microphone.
Various candy sounds.
It's like you're eating a Chewy, and all of a sudden these little drops fall in your mouth from inside the Chewy.
Right.
And they all have different flavors in them.
They have surprises inside of the chews.
Yeah, they didn't have these candies when Rach was little. They just had basically sardines with sugar on them.
Calling me old.
Whoa.
Marty, help me.
I cannot help you.
What's the problem?
I cannot help you, Ed.
You stepped in that trap.
Yep.
You can get yourself out.
Now I'm going to have to knock myself unconscious on the counter to keep from answering. It's the only choice I have. Please enjoy the podcast without me.
There was a lot of fun stuff in that.
Yeah,
also the different Kit Kats.
Yes, the Kit Kats were the best.
And we gave them all presents, which was great.
Everybody got presents. Kyoto was the original capital of Japan before Tokyo.
Yeah.
Useless facts like that is what you get on the Whiskey Tangent podcast. Listen to my kids in school. So even it's not the capital anymore, then why do we have to learn about it?
Well, actually, Kyoto and Tokyo are like anagrams of each other.
Interesting.
Right.
They're both also on the same island.
Yeah.
There's 4 major islands in Japan.
Can you name them?
The legend has it that when a samurai sword was just made, as it was drawn out, as it was drawn out of the fire, 4 little drops of iron fell into the ocean and formed Japan. So I know that legend, but I don't know the names. You know I don't speak foreign languages.
Yeah, but you're saying about a whole legend.
I know the number 4. So I can count islands.
I've had 4 whiskeys tonight.
Right, and there's 4 islands. Can you pronounce them?
No, I cannot.
And that's a correct answer.
All right, so after that one, we did the Whiskey Short, our annual Christmas Eve short. The first one that we've had other people on. The first 2, Ed and I did on our own. This time we had Sue and Siobhan come back because of the ill-fated one that they had done previous year that got garbled.
We lost the entire episode. It's the only time it ever happened to us.
Yep. So we invited them back, and then we did the holiday toast from a Lucky 7.
Delicious.
Yeah. So the palate says it's full-bodied with notes of cinnamon, toffee, toasted marshmallow, dark fruit. There's your cherry.
Yeah.
Ed,
Yeah, it's
and charred oak. The finish is a long crescendo of spice, cinnamon, and gingerbread. Yes.
To all that. I definitely get the gingerbread now.
Yeah.
That it's on water.
When you said marshmallow, I was very curious, so I took another sip and really concentrated on that. I get more of the texture of marshmallow.
Okay. Like
Yeah.
a
If that makes
creaminess.
sense. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. S'mores.
Oh.
You
all
know, so there's your graham cracker kind of like marshmallow. I if I'm going to stretch, you know,
Okay.
yeah, you know, but
I'll stretch you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey.
Already got there.
I meant her whiskey knowledge. You guys are so in high school.
Whatever.
As soon as you both get off my lap, I'll get back.
Wow.
I meant Siobhan and Scott, but
I'm somewhere else.
Sue's on my lap.
It's a centipede.
oh my God.
Yeah.
It's a holiday episode. Can we please?
I know.
Can we just keep one thing pure?
No.
Merry Christmas.
No, never.
We talked about our favorite things about Christmas. Christmas movies, Christmas carols. I love our Christmas stuff.
Scott's a real big Christmas fan. Anyone listening to the podcast knows that.
It's April.
Right.
I can't wait to decorate for Christmas.
And it's funny. I'm someone who loves to watch. Like, I love his decorations, but I hate decorating. I hate decorating.
Well, it's a lot.
I had one evergreen Christmas tree candy dish out for Christmas decorations just because Scott was coming over, and I wanted to have something I could point to, be like, there's my decoration right there. So that's all I had.
You can barely see it. Is that even green?
No, it's
the fuck is that?
It's a Christmas tree in the middle of a candy dish.
God damn it.
You can put it on your lap while you're here. So you can get as much Christmas as possible.
You're saying I'm going to fuck your candy dish.
That's right, man.
Wow.
Candy dish.
Candy dish on my ish.
Wow.
Okay. So we ended up not releasing an episode on the 5th Thursday of December.
Right.
That was supposed to be episode 50, the lounge jacket party, but it got shut down because of COVID. So we kind of had to adjust things, but
Right.
you know, we moved it into February and it all worked out, but you know, what can you do? We're in a pandemic, right? So in January, we like to do a whiskymentary. The first year we did Prohibition, second year we did sourcing, and this year we did the secondary market.
Right. And so this is where we talked about, who's responsible for the inflated prices and what we alluded to in the shout out section about people on the internet just, hunting bottles. And look what I found. I got an Antique Weller for 65 on Score. And,
Yeah.
I'd feel the same way, but I don't know if I'd post it because I feel like I'm just mocking everyone who doesn't have it.
Yeah, there's a lot of fear of missing out. Like, I want to get it, and so I'm willing to pay $200 over MSRP for it, but it's not really worth that.
Right. And one thing we did try to stress on every episode of the Whiskymentary this year was that there's other stuff you can drink. Let's say Knob Creek for some reason goes up to $75.
Yeah.
There are 10 other products I can tell you that you're going to have a nice drink with.
Yeah.
You can have the single barrel Four Roses. You can have Old Forester 1910. We can go up and down. There's other things out there to have. And I think that we need to stop getting wrapped up in the social media hype of different products. Like, it won the double gold. How many things have won the double gold in San Francisco? Like, can I get in on that? Like, how many awards are there?
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, our podcast just won the double gold at the San Francisco Podcast Open. We are double gold in voice, double gold in humor. We're only a single gold in singing, as you may know. We're double gold in microphones.
We were triple gold in editing, I'll say. Not only did we give you at least one alternative on every episode, at the end of the third episode, we give you the top 10 list of the most flipped whiskeys and then give you alternatives for all those.
Yeah, so we gave you options of what you can drink when you're feeling left out, and that'll save you money. Like, instead of buying an inflated $120 whiskey, you could buy 3 $40 whiskeys that are delicious, and we told you what they are.
Yeah. I'm really proud of those episodes.
Yeah.
The way we structured them, the first part is we explained exactly why we pay what we pay. The second part was why we can't get what we want. And the third part was why we broke it. And crucially, how we fix it.
How to fix it. We're the solution. Don't play the game. Don't chase the rabbit. Go pick up turtles. They're all around you.
Yeah. So many turtles.
Go pick it up.
So we did a bonus short of a listener submission, the Have a Shot of Freedom quick taste.
All right.
It's really good. I really like it.
I don't want to make a drink with it either. I just want to drink it like this.
If you like whiskeys that are like oaky and have a little bit of char and have these more savory notes to it, you're really going to like this because that's what this has. There's some sweetness, there's some spice, but those are kind of what I'm getting as it finishes and fades away. Freedom whiskey! Fuck yeah!
Drink this whiskey or you're a communist.
Really good whiskey. Kind of a tragic story about the guy who helped develop it. He died after we were supposed to have actually already tasted it, but we had to have all the postponements that we talked about, and we postponed it to January. Although, because of that, we got to talk about him on that podcast.
Yeah, give him his due and thank him and everyone like him for their service.
Yeah, and it was really great of Austin to send us a bottle. If you have a bottle of whiskey locally that you love and you want to send us some, please do.
Right, like we have the Weeder from Monash near us. We have Trainwreck that comes out with Blue Comet near us. So we have a lot of local whiskeys. We won't send them to you, but if you have something like that, feel free to send it to us, is what we're saying. And
if you have a podcast, we'll send one to you.
Right, but if not, send us what you like our good friend Steve from Florida.
Right.
I still haven't been able to find any Red Drum. Even when I was in Florida, I looked for Red Drum and couldn't find it. I did.
Huh.
I was going to drink the whole thing right there.
Right in the aisle?
Right in the aisle, right? Until they squirt me out.
After that, we did episode 50, which is the jacket party that got postponed. We finally did it. Winter Whiskey Cocktails, the jacket party at the local lounge. Everybody who had received a jacket and who was going to receive it.
Except for?
Well, except for Drea.
Right.
Who will be receiving her soon. Promise. And, God, it was a great time.
Yeah, so we had Gabe, Siobhan, Anders, Sue, Jeff, Nari, and Shelby.
Right. And Sue.
And Sue. I didn't say Sue and Jeff already?
Oh, you might have.
Well, Sue and Jeff. If I didn't say them already. And Anders and Gabe, I'll just keep saying the names over and over. You can put them wherever you want.
I love the picture that Callum took. Callum was on one of our episodes. He's the half owner of the pub and the lounge. The 3 cocktails that we did were the Big Apple, the Penicillin, and the Paper Plane. I swear to God, the Penicillin has become one of my favorite cocktails of all time now.
So we're back, everybody. We're in round 2 of the drinks. We've got Sue with us, the whiskey pixie.
Hello.
And Jeff, the knight who says neat.
I am hammered, so I will apologize ahead of time.
He's actually having a cocktail. I don't know that, Jeff, do you drink a lot of cocktails?
I will drink anything. I'm sorry.
Right. All right. So,
yeah.
Okay.
So in that vein, to drink anything, the second round cocktail, the Penicillin, and Anders is going to tell us how he made it.
These are delicious. So McCarthy's, which is a peated single malt from the U.S., from Clear Creek Distilling in Oregon, kind of adjacent to like a Lefroy. So I sprayed that around the rib. And then we have Blue Comet single malt from here in Mount Holly over at Trainwreck, both ginger and honey syrup and fresh lemon juice.
All right.
I'm sniffing this, and I sniffed everything you described.
Yeah, it's all in
the
there.
ginger, the citrus, the everything, the lemon, the honey.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's so good.
This is my new favorite.
Really?
She just had her favorite sitting right next to her. The Monte Carlo sitting next to her.
Right. And now that's her new favorite.
Fuck Monte Carlo.
Everything that
Penicillin all the way.
Anders has made for me tonight has become my new favorite.
Yeah. Anders has that effect on people.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how he enchanted us in the first place.
Right. I mean, during the winter, anytime I went in the lounge, that would be my first drink. Just knock the dust out your throat, the trail dust out of your throat.
God, it's a good cocktail.
It's a great cocktail. 1 or 5 of them a day will keep you healthy.
1 or 5.
You will not get a cold.
No.
Or at least you won't be awake to realize it.
Yeah, and what was really cool about that one was that they got us presents.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
Right. They gave us a barrel pick of barrel spirits from Banash. And what's the other one? Bell Mead. Not Bell Mead, but the
Bell of something.
Bell of the Ball. Bell of Bats of the Belfry. Wait.
The Bell of Bedford.
Oh, yeah, Scott. Bell of Bedford.
Bell of Bedford.
Hello, you old Bella Bedford. Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter. Merry Christmas to you in jail.
Now you're just trolling me now. Go back to listen to the Christmas Eve short to find out my hatred of the movie that Ed is talking about.
I'm not getting it.
We've already litigated it.
It's a legend.
It's a legend.
You've never watched it, so you have no reason to hate it.
Oh, well, that's also true. After that, we did the Elvis whiskey quick taste. We were sent these. It was a Tennessee whiskey and a rye.
Rye.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, both pretty good.
The price range? The rye was better.
Especially for a sourced whiskey.
Yeah, the rye was better. I mean, once again, this is similar to the Bradshaw in the fact that it's a novelty. But if you give it to a friend who loves Elvis, they're going to enjoy it. It's not going to be a pour out, or just like you got to drown it in ginger ale to get it down your throat.
It's very decent.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good to have Jeff there on that one because he's a big Elvis fan.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun with that. We did a top 10 list at the end of like really good facts about Elvis. The one thing that I learned about that was the story about Elvis challenging Alice Cooper to shoot him in the head.
Yeah, we'll drop it in right here.
Yeah. Elvis was a 7th degree black belt in karate. Having started his training in Europe in 1958 while in the army, Elvis studied martial arts until his death in 1977. He even showed off his skills in a 1971 encounter with Alice Cooper in a hotel in Las Vegas. At Elvis's request, Cooper showed up to the hotel room where he was greeted by Liza Minnelli, Chubby Checker, and Linda Lovelace.
Oh, my God.
Elvis then brought Cooper into the kitchen, opened a drawer, handed him a loaded pistol, and asked Cooper to point it at his head. In an interview with Britain's Daily Mirror in 2012, Cooper said, "A little voice in my left ear was telling me, go on, kill him. You'll always be the guy who killed Elvis." But in my other ear, another voice was saying, "You can't kill him. It's Elvis Presley. Wound him instead. You'll only get a few years." A second later, Elvis executed a perfect flying kick, striking Cooper's hand, sending the gun through the air while simultaneously tripping and pinning him to the ground by his neck, whereupon Elvis announced calmly, "That's how you stop a man with a gun." After that, we did episode 51, the Blind Barrel Bourbon Batch Battle.
Right.
Here's a terrible idea. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to delay that because we have more to say about that. So we'll just talk in general about the Whiskey Madness.
Yeah. And then we'll taste the barrels that we're tasting tonight.
Right. And
we'll talk about the barrels all at one time. So we don't break up a barrel commentary.
Exactly. So the Whiskey Madness, I mean, it was great. I think it was our best one.
I think it was our best because the whiskeys were the best.
The whiskeys were the best. But I think also just the decisions that we made, the suspense that was created by us not picking the ones that we wanted to pick because we were tasting them blind. Yep. We were just picking what we liked at the moment. And that's how you do it.
No big surprise. The Bullet 10 year.
Oh my God. No, that's a huge surprise.
Yeah, it was.
Really?
Yeah.
I absolutely thought I was picking Eagle Rare.
So was I.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
The B was more complex and
wow, A just tasted so delicious and smelled so delicious. And then like I said before, it's just the smallest nth of a degree that edged it out.
After the first round of tasting, I would have probably gone with B. But A is so sweet. I can see 50 people being here telling me like, I like the complexity of B. You guys are missing out on it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's more complex. There's a reason why it was the #1 seed.
Yeah.
But this is how it goes when you taste stuff blind. And these are our first ones of the day. So it's not like our palate was that much occluded.
No.
Nor am I drunk. So
Yet.
The reality is,
wait for it.
Yeah, wait for it, because I already had to take a second pour when I told myself I wasn't going to do that. So failing already at my own standards.
Yeah.
That was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And I think it really improved my opinion of Bullet Tenure, because I thought at $51 it wasn't worth the money. But if it's able to edge Eagle Rare for me today.
And it's not just you picked it. Like I picked it too. Like we both thought the same thing about the same whiskeys in the same way, and we were both wrong. Yeah, we won't spoil the winner on this one, but I think it deserved it. It was the right one.
It definitely stole the show.
Gabe was really good on that, subbing in for Anders as he did last year. But he had to do the entire tournament, by himself.
Yeah.
Because Anders just wasn't available for us. We missed Anders a lot.
The International Bar Manager Convention in Dubai.
Right. He was also went to space again, I think.
Yeah, I think he was up space with the knee glasses.
Yeah, with the knee glasses. That's right. All right. So the controversial thing that we've been foreshadowing.
I mean, it's a small controversy, I think. But
small one. But it's something I think we need to talk about.
I think it's fine.
With our listeners.
Yeah. So let's take a break. We're going to get some clean glasses. We're going to get ready for the new samples that we're going to do of barrel and evaluate them. And then we'll tell you the interesting interaction we had with the barrel family.
Yeah. About our episode 51.
Yes. So we're back. We're going to treat this part like a short, so I'm going to start it. Our friends at Barrel had sent us a couple of expressions to taste. First is the Barrel Seagrass, and that's very popular. Before we do that, we're going to try the Armida.
Yeah.
Last call, quick.
All right, so I have a very quick description of it, one paragraph.
Right.
Armida is a blend of 3 straight bourbon whiskeys finished separately in pear brandy, Jamaican rum, and Sicilian Amaro casks. The ripe floral pear notes provide a soft entrance into a whiskey that is adorned with hints of spice and arid citrus derived from the Amaro casks and also the toasty bourbon itself. And this melange of flavor is framed by the tropical sweetness found in rum-finished whiskeys. Armida is a journey for the palate from a brisk northern orchard to an ancient island. It ends up exactly where we intended, with an immensely complex and satisfying whiskey. It's a finished bourbon. The proof, 112.46. The age, mash bill, and source distiller is not disclosed, but they're from Tennessee and Indiana. The price is $90. The awards are 94 points at the Ultimate Spirits Challenge in 2020, gold at the John Barleycorn Awards in 2021, gold at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition, of course, in 2019. Fun fact, Armida is the founder's mother's name.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why it's called Armida.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. And we have tasting notes from Breaking Bourbon because we refuse to do the tasting notes from Barrel, which we will get to.
Right.
So you want to taste it?
Sure.
Okay.
Because I guess we'll talk about episode 51 when we're done doing this part.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's do our job first. Wow. The nose is not what I expected for the Armida. It's a very mild nose.
It is very mild. It's lightly sweet. I mean, I guess that's the pear.
I mean, I'm getting some of the traditional bourbon flavor in the beginning.
Sure.
And then it definitely is finishing with fruits. Oh, like a fruit sweetness.
Almost like the pear syrup that you would get at like a fruit cocktail.
Yeah, like one of those fruit cups when you were a kid.
Yeah.
That's a good way to describe what I'm getting on the finish.
That's what it smells like. All right, let's taste it. Oh.
Ooh.
It's sweet, but it has like a little bit of a metallic kind of quality.
First of all, it's real alcohol forward in the very beginning. The front of my mouth is still burning, but then it goes past that and it has a very, very sweet finish, I feel.
Yeah.
I've been a long fan of the Barrel products, and this one has not hit me as on par with the ones we had on episode 51. I don't know why. I need to try it again.
Yeah, it's sort of light. It's darker than on the nose, but it's still very light. It's not bad.
No.
We're, of course, splitting hairs with the other stuff from Barrel that we've tried.
Yeah.
But I agree with you.
It doesn't taste as blended. And I know that that's amazing because they're master blenders. They really are. They make great stuff. And this is, don't get twisted. If you walked into a bar and I gave you this on a globe, you'd be like, wow, this is amazing. But I'm just saying, we've had so many great products for them. And I guess my problem is it smelled way sweeter than it tastes. And so I think if I adjust my expectations and come at it again, I might give it a fair shake.
It is less sweet than it smells. It is deeper, too. There's almost an earthy quality to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if I was told that this was a rye, I would come at it with a completely different mentality.
Oh, yeah.
Because go at it again now, wiping out your preconceptions of the nose, and it's actually much better when I'm tasting it out.
Yeah, because there is a sort of spicy
herbaceousness
to the finish of it that does remind you of a rye. It starts off very sweet, but it transitions to that extra bite that a rye has.
The sweets go on really quick in it.
It does dissipate very quickly.
So it's really not thin. It's just the sweet is thin.
Yeah, I'm getting like I said, earthier tobacco and leather on the finish, which I do like, but the expectation of this is very sweet when you smell it.
All right, what's Breaking Bourbon say?
Breaking Bourbon. Okay, the tasting notes on the nose, floral with ripe pear up front, and light vanilla and caramel in the background. Exactly.
Up front, yeah.
Palate, ripe pear, dark fruits, anise, sweet molasses, and baking spices. Finish of medium long with tobacco, seasoned oak, and a slight dryness. Yeah.
That's definitely the finishes I'm right there with. Mm-hmm. I don't think the palate is as sweet as they're saying. I am tasting initial sweetness, and then I said it just disappears into what they said.
Yeah. The palate actually, like it's a quarter of the drink.
Yeah.
And the finish is 3/4 of the drink, and it's definitely not sweet.
And it's everything what they said.
Yep.
So I think we really did a good job of summing up what they tasted and what we tasted.
Yeah, not bad.
Now, I'm almost interested to see what Barrel would say. I know you don't want to do this, but I think it's important because my problem with the tasting notes was that they're not approachable to your clients. You know what I mean?
Right. So this is what we talked about on episode 51.
Right. So we can transition to that, and then we'll finish on the up note with the Seagrass.
Yeah. So I'll just do the palate because the nose is ridiculous. Yeah. Lush sweetness is kept in check by some sandy tannin and high strength. Here, the rum takes center stage with blackstrap, molasses, sambuca, and olive brine. Arriving first, the rich dark character builds with date and chipotle, leading into pipe tobacco and walnut. The Amaro is never far behind, exhibiting licorice root gentian, which I don't know what it is, and green cardamom and cola nut.
All right, see, my point is, once again, Barrel, we shouldn't have to be Googling your tasting notes. And by the way, I think that they're actually with us on this.
Yes.
So we're right there. Like, we are tasting what they want us to taste, but they have to put a cola nut, which nobody is going to recognize drinking. I have a theory that that's not what got us in trouble with what we're going to talk about.
I think it sort of set the stage for us getting in trouble.
So we got feedback from a secondary source, right?
Right. So Jeff had been in communication with a woman who works at Barrel. So Jeff sent her the episode of 51 because he was pretty excited about it. And this was her response. Hi, Jeff. We're glad you enjoyed the Barrel samples we sent and appreciate your support of the brand. We actually did listen to the podcast and found it rather offensive. We trust that won't happen again when you review our products.
So we've had a good relationship with their company. We are huge supporters of their brand. We have been supporters to our fans, and even off air, we've been proponents of their brand. If she found something offensive on our episode, we hope it doesn't happen again. How do we know what you're offended at? At first, we thought it was the tasting notes because we made fun of the tasting notes because they're pretentious.
On the nose, a classic opening of brown sugar laced oatmeal and freshly conditioned leather. Williams pear. Do you know what a Williams pear is? Anybody? Jeff? Do you know what a Williams pear is?
Jim's mom, Jackie Williams, she had a pear.
Cantaloupe. She had a pair of cantaloupes.
Cantaloupe, the ladder's broke.
And mulled wine develop. Herbs soon follow: basil, dill, and wasabi powder. The aroma finally stabilizes into something resembling Pedro Jimenez sherry, displaying rosewater, treacle tart, and boiled cider.
For fuck's sake.
This is just the nose, they're saying. Yeah. On the palate, a bright, pithy lime cordial note is rounded out by Mirabelle plum and sugar snap pea. Once the palate has acclimatized, more traditional flavors of affogato.
Oh, traditional affogato. Not running around the town square affogato.
Traditional Italian affogato, not Sicilian affogato.
Oh.
Like I said, this is elite. Like a Mirabelle plum. I don't even know the difference between a Mirabelle plum and a regular plum.
Nobody does, which makes it a little bit obnoxious.
Yeah.
Listen, we've all drank a lot of whiskey, all right? Jeff's basement looks like a cry for help. He has 85 bottles down there, okay? I don't think you gain a lot by making your tasting notes unapproachable to not just the average drinker, but the advanced drinker, which Scott and I and Jeff would have to say we are.
I feel like whoever's ever doing this just has a really sophisticated palate and you tease out all of those
or
things.
a thesaurus, Scott. Maybe they just have a very sophisticated vocabulary. I mean, I didn't taste half of what they even said in there. Wasabi powder on the nose?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I feel like we're angry now.
And maybe she got offended at that. And if that was it, that's fine. She's allowed to be offended at anything she wants. I don't think that was it, though, because I would hope that you'd have a little bit of a sense of humor. If there were so many things that offended you that you had to give the whole episode the red flag, well, then I'm sorry about that. But our fans find us at least somewhat amusing. So they're going to just hear us talk good about your whiskey.
Yeah, and we could have responded to her and asked her exactly what it was. In the moment, I did want to respond immediately.
Yeah.
But I just kind of sat back and I said, you know what? It's like, as you said previously, it's okay for someone to be offended by what we said. Right. That's fine. I do want to say, however, the disclaimer that I put in front of every episode, it's just in front of the episodes. And if you don't listen to it anymore and you're a longtime listener, that is okay. It is for new people coming to the podcast. She was a new person coming to the podcast. That disclaimer says that there will be discussions about topics of possibly offensive but usually hilarious interest, and that there might be foul language, but intolerant viewpoints are not a part of what we do.
Right.
And I wrote that and I recorded that specifically so that people would know exactly what our podcast is about, who we are as people. We're funny. We might offend you, but we are not going to disrespect you.
No. So, but I will say this. If we get feedback, I will take it to heart and take a look at, was that too far? Was it not worth the joke if people are actually being hurt by it?
Absolutely.
And I want to point out, I think that she handled it as minimally as possible. She certainly didn't make a big deal. And this is why I'm thinking putting her on blast on air is probably not right, because she didn't ask us to put her on blast. I think we should really start over right now that we've worked it out.
No. Oh my God.
Because we're not going to start over. I think there's a funnier way to do this.
I'm going to shore it up, and if we need to come back and record something else, something a little lighter, we can do that.
Yeah, all right. We do it tomorrow.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Come on, Siobhan wants to listen to music and drink with us, and I haven't had a chance to argue with you over what song to play in weeks, so let's...
All right, so the Barrel Armida, what do you think?
There's better barrels out there for the money.
Okay, all right.
But I will say this. If you like a very dry finish rye, a very low sweet rye, even though this is so sweet in the beginning, and they're right about that. There's a burst of
And
sweetness.
not a rye.
Right, and it's not a rye.
Right.
But it finishes like a dry rye to me.
I agree that it's not as good as some of the other stuff that we've tasted by them, but I do really like it because I do like the finish. God, there's so much tobacco.
It's
in
in
the
your
finish.
wheelhouse.
It's
It's really in your wheelhouse, especially how it finishes.
It's very interesting whiskey. I
Yeah.
like the experimentation that they do. Of the non-distiller producers in America, they are the top.
Right.
Okay, so the Barrel Seagrass, this has been like everywhere. Like they are really pushing this one.
Yeah.
So Barrel Seagrass highlights the grassy oceanside notes we love in rye and the opulence and spice of finishing barrels. A blend of American and Canadian rye whiskeys, each ingredient was meticulously sourced and finished separately in Martinique rum, Madeira, and apricot brandy barrels. Barrel Seagrass is an ode to coastal memories, bringing to mind the hot sun, brisk air, dry sand, and oceanside vegetation, and blended to evoke the joy of a day on the beach and an evening listening to the soothing rhythm of the waves.
It's amazing. Smell this, man. It smells like the seashore. It smells like the dunes. There's salt in it.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
It really is.
It really does smell like the seashore. I can't believe it. And I forgot the name of it. I took a smell. I go, wow, this really smells like the seashore. And I'm like, oh my God, it's called Seagrass. That's right. Like I literally forgot what it was called.
Yeah, this is a finished rye. Its proof is 118.4. Again, the age mash bill to source distiller is not disclosed, but it is, as I mentioned, an Indiana and Canadian rye. Its price is about $90. It won double gold at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition just in 2021, platinum at the LA Spirits Competition in 2021, gold at the Ascot Awards and John Barleycorn Awards in 2021, and it was number 2 on Fred Minnick's Top 100 American Whiskeys of 2021. Fun fact, a portion of the proceeds from the sale of these bottles will be donated to the Ocean Foundation to contribute to the conservation and restoration of seagrass.
That's really great.
That's why they called it that.
Which is interesting because they're not based anywhere where there's an ocean.
Right.
a huge-
They're in Kentucky.
It's a huge sacrifice for them. It tastes like the next generation of what we just had.
Oh, that's different. I'm not sure I've ever had anything like that. So the thing I get is the memory of what you think a pickle tastes like. It's not salty. It's not in your face. It's not dill, but it's all those.
Well, like sea brine. Can it be that? So,
absolutely.
So it could be the brine that you get from like an ocean mist more than a pickle.
Yeah, absolutely. The tasting notes from Whiskey Jug, our buddy. On the nose, rye spice, dried fruit, oak, grapey sweetness, candy, and dry cologne spice.
Okay, I don't know what that is, but
I don't either. Palate is rye spice bergamot, which is the orange that is in your Earl Grey tea. Dried fruit, oak, and dried apricots with a touch of methanol and brown sugar. On the finish, long with rye, oak, and fruity sweetness, giving way to spiced apricot. It's funny, in the tasting notes, he doesn't mention the brininess of it, because that's
crazy.
What I'm getting from this.
Me too.
I really like this. It's something that you want to drink when you want to drink something else.
I just don't understand how Barrel takes the same sourced products that everyone else has. And I know they get priority. They got a pretty good source coming in.
Yeah, by now they do.
But how they get all these different barrels and finish all the stuff in and blend it all together and make stuff that I've never tasted before.
Yeah.
Every single time I'm like, there's another one. There's another one.
I know.
And I mean, I didn't love the Armida tonight, but it wasn't a bad whiskey. But my God, the Seagrass. It's funny.
It's
funny
really good. Because this, I feel like, is not something that you would regularly enjoy.
No, because it's not as sweet as I like, but
Yeah.
it's so good. The Seagrass is one of their better products.
Yeah, this is head and shoulders, I think, above the Armida. Even the Armida was very good.
I feel like they know that. I feel like if you work for Barrel, you know that this is way better than the Armida. I'm just going to be honest. Like if we worked there, we made it, we're like, oh, the Armida's good, but it's not the Seagrass.
No, because that tracks with what I see online. Because it's really good. I think Scotch lovers would love this. There's a lot of grassiness. There's a lot of savory notes. There's a lot of earthiness.
Like Space Side guys.
Well, I think maybe lowland guys because of the grassiness of like the Auchentoshan.
Okay. All right, I can see that.
Yeah,
That's fair.
even though we're Scotch noobs, pretty much.
All right, you're perpetrating right now.
I am. I'm perpetrating. All right. So, I mean, that was delicious.
Yeah, so if you just want to say, hey, Ed and Scott, I want to try some Barrel, just go out, get the Dovetail and the Seagrass.
Okay.
They're complete contrasts of each other. The Dovetail is a traditional bourbon, very sweet and flavorful and fruit notes and complex as all hell. And then, if it's okay to say hell. And then the Seagrass, which is rye and spice and brine and such complexity. So if you just start with those two, I think that's the parameters of barrel, and then you can just go in between and taste all their other finishes. I've had the sherry cask here and the Amaro cask finish here. We've done so many, and our love affair with their products continues. We've never, ever been disappointed by a barrel product.
No.
Could they be cheaper? Yes.
Well,
I mean, let's be honest. They are not priced to move, but yet they move. So why price them differently?
they do.
But when you look at something, you're like, well, why is this $70? Well, when you look at it, you got 3 different finished barrel products that you have to blend together to make this. I mean, that takes time, effort.
Right.
Storage.
How do they do that? Right.
Oh, I mean, their master blender, it just seems like someone who loves his job. And really, why the hell wouldn't he love his job? I mean, I love his job and I don't even have it.
I know I don't have the palate for his job, but I would love it.
So,
So the only thing left we have to do now is the season 7 preview.
All right.
We'll go through what we've sort of planned. Again,
Right.
this doesn't mean this was actually going to happen.
Right.
But looking ahead, having just completed 3 months of almost exclusively featuring bourbons in our Whiskeymentary, episode 51, and the Whiskey Madness tournament, we're going to cast an eye to foreign lands for our first 3 episodes of season 7.
ooh, exciting. Where are we going, Scott?
Oh, well, episode 52, we're going to do Irish whiskeys.
Yes, it's been a while. I love my Irish whiskeys.
Exactly. We were just at the lounge the other night, and I was talking to Anders. I said, we haven't really done a lot of Irish whiskeys on the podcast, being that Irish whiskey is probably our 3rd favorite whiskey style behind bourbons and ryes, right?
Right.
I mean, and we've only done 6, and that's just a crime. So we're going to solve that crime on episode 52. Episode 53, we're going to do Canadian finally.
Canadian, and it'd be great doing it right after the Irish to see if it can hold its own at all.
Exactly.
And what's interesting, like people say, well, Canadian whiskey's terrible, right? It's like, well, the Whistle Pig comes from Canadian rye, you know?
That Alberta distillery.
Right. So it's like there's Canadian rye that's sneaking into what you're drinking. One of the ones we're drinking tonight.
Yes, the Seagrass.
Seagrass has Canadian rye in it. So
Certainly does.
So it's kind of under the radar Canadian whiskey. We'll see how we do it. We did the Canadian Crown Royal XO on here, and it was delicious.
Did the Caribou Crossing?
Right. And that's about it.
Yep. All right. So episode 54, other whiskeys of the British Empire. So Brian, if you're listening to this, we're going to be in touch. Brian is the guy from our area who was stationed in Afghanistan for a while. Still number 7 on our country list.
Brian is number 7.
Yeah.
Brian's our 7th biggest country.
So he's a big whiskey guy. He traveled all over the world, being in the military as he does, and also personally.
Or a civilian contractor.
Mercenary.
Right.
Yeah.
Soldier for hire. Who are the people who fight for Marvel?
I forget.
Samuel Jackson's the lead.
S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah,
Yeah, it is
Agents of
S.H.I.E.L.D.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right. So Brian's basically an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's what it termed. He just doesn't have an eye patch.
Right. So he has a bunch of whiskeys. He had one from, I think, Australia, one from England, one from Wales.
And we will drink them all.
And we will drink them all. Episode 55, of course, is a cocktail episode. I think we're probably going to do bottled cocktails because we haven't done them yet. And it's for the summer. It's like if you're at a barbecue and you don't want to feel like drinking a bourbon because it's a lot.
It's hot. You want to have a cocktail, but you don't feel like bringing all your mixins with you. And your friend's a beer guy.
Get a bottled cocktail. And we're going to tell you which bottled cocktail to bring.
Sure, why not?
Episode 56, possibly few spirits. We wanted to do this in February, but things got messed up.
Yeah, and we've already met and talked with the owner and the founder.
Yeah, Paul Haletko.
And he was just acquired by, who was Few acquired by? Heaven Hill?
Shit. Yeah, Heaven Hill bought the company that was overseeing Few and a bunch of other stuff.
And I think that Few is still going to operate independently. It's just a matter of paperwork.
Yeah. Episode 57, we're going to have another ladies' night. Flavored whiskeys.
Yeah,
we've never done flavored whiskeys.
Never done them. And, Scott and I think they're trash. So let's see if we're wrong. Let's see if we can find anything that holds its own.
Yeah, look at you, Fireball.
Yeah, let's go Fireball. Bring it on. Take you right out the freezer. Right to the head.
Right. Episode 58, we're going to do Sagamore Spirits. And the reason being is because Sagamore has started bottling their own stuff.
Right.
And I think that's really exciting. Because all they do is rise.
I think if you turn to episode, 3 or 4, we talk about...
3, I think, yeah.
Episode 3, we had Sagamore on talking about how they one day will have their own.
One day they will, and here we are.
Here we are 3 years later.
Episode 59, which is the last episode that we'll have in season 7. We're going to start a new series called It's All Your Vault.
So we'll put a name in. So
Instead of your.
right, like it'd be like it's all Scott's vault.
Right.
And that means we're going to go to Scott's house and drink from his whiskey collection.
So what we're hoping to do is Doug from the Lounge, who you heard on the Blanton's episode with him and Joey, he has a huge whiskey collection. We're going to go over in a few weeks to sample what he's got. To practice and see what he's got. And then we'll do the research and then we'll come back and actually do It's All Doug's Vault.
And we'll record from Doug's basement where all his whiskey is, and we'll see whatever lunacy comes
from that.
Right, and we'll see if we can fit all our equipment in an Uber.
Oh, we're definitely taking an Uber. Yeah, fuck that.
Because Doug has a way of just getting us drunk. Every time I'm with Doug, he's like, drink some more of this. Take some of this. Why?
Yeah, Doug's that guy who will get you drunk. So those are the episodes, the whiskey shorts that we have planned. Of course, we're going to do a lot of quick taste. That's what we do. The first one, we're going to do Starlight Whiskey Quick Taste. We recorded that earlier tonight.
The double oat, yep.
I want to do a little short on coffee and whiskey because there's a couple expressions that are out there that I want to try. How to infuse your own whiskey. My brother gave me a whiskey infusion kit, and we're figuring out how we're going to do that.
Basically, it's made that you can add stuff to your whiskey and age it in the bottle, right?
Yeah, like botanicals and stuff.
Right, and then we also have a whiskey barrel.
We do, and that's the other one. How to make your own Angel's Envy rye.
Using bullet rye as a base, and then we'll tell you how we did the rest.
Right, exactly. And then we might have one or two. We've only done one of these, Whiskey Wormholes. We may have two in season 7.
Right, we've got a couple lined up. We actually have 3 on the radar.
We do.
One we have secured, one we have on the short leash.
Yes.
And one I was just talking about last week.
All right.
To the people that have it.
Okay.
All right. So we'll see what we can do because we're overdue doing one.
We are.
Overdue doing?
Or overdoing one.
Overdue do 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 do. That was terrible.
So that is the end of the last call. Thank God. This is 2 hours and 41 minutes and 30 seconds right now. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Honestly, it's a treat to look at the listener stats every 6 months, see who's listening to us in all the states, all the countries. If you're in a foreign nation and you want to email us, please do, because I want to hear your story.
Yeah.
How are you in a foreign country listening to an English language podcast? Are you somebody who has English as a second language?
Right.
Are you an expatriate? You love whiskey? We want to hear from you. Please send us an email at whiskeytangent.
Is somebody punishing you by tying you to a chair and putting us on?
At gmail.com.
If there's any human rights violations, we will come and get you. Really, honestly, thanks everybody for the support. Share and tell your friends, and let's help this whole thing grow. And once again, if you're still here, that means you're dedicated. And so you really need to get yourself the neat glasses.
Yeah.
And if you go to neatglass.com and you put in the code WhiskeyTan, you'll get 10% off your first order from us, okay?
And soon we will have Whiskey Tangent etched neat glasses for sale.
Right.
That we will sell to you
for the low price of $117. The glass is free. The box will be $117. No, it'll be reasonable. But we'll have a contest, and whoever does certain stuff, we can give some away.
You know what? I'm going to say this right now.
Okay.
Anybody who has actually sent us a whiskey, a listener, there's only been 2 so far. You guys know who you are. You will get, for free, I will send it to you, a neat glass etched with Whiskey Tangent on the bottom, because you guys are awesome.
That's right. You deserve it.
And anybody else who does it will also get one.
Unless it's a shitty whiskey that we don't like, then no. I don't want a whole lot of Jim Beam White Label flying in next week.
All right. So for the Whiskey Tangent podcast, I'm Scott.
I'm Ed.
Cheers, everyone.